Hi everybody, welcome to Modern Moves Dance. I'm CoCo Loop and this is Michael Boyko.
Hello, Coco.
Hi, playing drums for us as always. So delighted to be back with you guys. Today for this video I wanted to do a simple kind of warm up or cool down depending on when you want to use it in your practice of initiating movement from the bones. So sometimes when we think of dancing or we think of training, we think of really effortful, energetic, muscular movement. And sometimes, that's wonderful, a wonderful way to start. But some days we don't want to start with a bunch of core heavy, ballistic warming up. We want to start with something lighter and gentler. And one way to do that is to focus on the bones and just moving them gently through space and kind of letting them lead us through larger movements of the joints and into more complex spiraling motions. But we can just start actually by kind of playing around with all of the different larger bones in the body. So Michael, we can just kind of go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And we'll just start with the long bone of the upper arm. You can just let it float and see all the different ways that it can move through space. Let's try the other one. So this is the humerus bone, and you'll notice that it ties in to the shoulder. And maybe you can move them both at the same time. It's up to you. You can get as creative as you want, but there's a light, gentle, floating quality. And that doesn't always mean that the motion goes up in space. It can go down. Let's take the lower arm and just let that move through space. Almost feels kind of like a ropey feeling. So this is the radius and the ulna. Creating almost like wave motions. And then we can kind of let the whole arm, all the bones in the arms, go through space. And you notice as I'm doing this, the lower body is answering and helping me support what I'm doing with the arms, the bones of the arms. Now we can go to the wrists and let the finger bones start to express. Small circles in the wrists. Maybe the fingers fan out or flicker. See where the wrists can guide the motion. They're farther down on the arms, so you can actually start to feel them move around the body. And around in space. All right. So from here, we're going to move down to the pelvis. So the bones, the big prominences of the pelvis are these hip points right here, and the tail, and the sacrum. So if you just think of lightly moving those bony points through space, you get a sense of ease and gentleness in your movement. So you can find circles or figure eights or small thrusts forward and back, just initiating from there. Let's do a couple more of these. Little sways side to side. Let's move to the longer bone of the thigh, the femur. So we can just move that big bone through space. It might go in front of the body, behind the body. It can even go to the side of the body and move around from there. So not requiring too much muscle contraction, but still all in all getting a really beautiful experience of getting the body going, or if this is at the end of your practice, cooling down. And now the lower bones of the legs. This is the tibia and the fibula. Experiencing their lightness and the mobility of them. Again, the core gently supporting what I'm doing without a ton of effort. And then the feet, the toes and the ankle. We can start to make the little circles like we did with the wrists. Just kind of light, flicky playfulness. And now let's go through the spine. So if you kind of sense deep in the torso and deep in the pelvis, you can initiate from the spine, the bones, the vertebra of the spine, and then to the skull. Letting the big cranium gently loosen the neck down through the spine. Then you can let that emanate out through all of the other bones that we were playing with before. And you can get into a free form, free flow dance with the bones. And then it's up to you if you want to slow it down. Light bone movement, or if you want to speed it up and turn it into almost like a jiggle dance. Still light and easy. Nothing too bound, just light and free. Just shaking the bones out. All right, all right, all right. So, I love doing that kind of practice when I'm feeling a little bit stuck or having a harder time connecting to my body, especially if I'm tired and I don't feel like initially I have a lot of like muscle energy to do, really athletic kind of exercises. So I start off small, just looking at the bones, paying attention to them, kind of rebuilding my awareness of where my skeleton is and kind of how just naturally abundant that movement can be. And then from there, as I start to warm up, doing those smaller, gentler things, I can start to expand, bring on more muscle energy, and then get into more vigorous kind of movement. So I hope you enjoyed that. Try that anytime to get yourself going, or like I said, to cool down out of a harder, sweatier, more athletic practice. So just remember for me to like, subscribe, and share this channel with all of your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. Michael, thank you.